It's time for the Creator Town Hall here on Studio Live today. In this one, we're talking about live video versus pre-recorded video. If you are starting to share your stuff, should you live stream? Should you spend that time editing and curating it and doing all the stuff? Well, I don't know, but I know someone who might. Let's bring her in, shall we? It is the one, the only, Jade Starr. Oh no, she's missing again. No Jade Starr. I'm sorry.
Hello!
Oh, she's actually here. What?
I like coming up from the floor.
You like it? Yes. You're rising up. You don't care who you tread on the way up. Is that what you're saying?
Rise, Skywalker.
You don't watch Star Wars over your head.
I don't. I don't watch the Star Treks or the Wars or any of those. So, but I do like to tell people live long and prosper, and then say, "Isn't that from Star Wars?" And then they get all confused. What's going on? How are you in this wonderful Thursday evening or morning or afternoon, depending where you are in the world?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Working hard. Working hard for the money.
Working hard or hardly working? Well, we're going to talk about that because you do a lot of live streaming. So for those that don't know you, I was going to say, what do you do? People know what you do, but what you do is this YouTube channel called How to App on iOS. But what people may have noticed is that amongst the little yellowy, orangey ones, there's these little black ones all scattered in here. So a little birdie told me that as well as your daily live show, you are now just going nuts and doing a pre-recorded show as well. Do you want to tell folks about that? Why you're doing that and what that's all about?
Yes, I have finally converted to the dark side after, 2.5 years or a little bit more, and decided to do short form videos to try and reach a different audience. And because the live streams are great, and they're what I've built the channel on so far. And it was a plan from the beginning to do live streams to try and build a community. But it only goes so far, and then you really have to create a short form content to try and get those people who have the attention span of goldfish. So it is true. And we've talked about this. You know, I knew there was going to be a time when I was going to have to do it. It was just, when was I ready to take on the extra responsibility? Because it is a lot of responsibility, and you do them. So, you know how much extra work it is. It's full on, and I've only been doing it for 3 weeks.
It is, and and the reason I do so much live and that I've moved, because I've done the opposite of you. So I used to do only pre-record, and I've only been doing live for 2 years, and you've come the other way. A couple of years ago, you started doing live every day, and now you've gone pre-recorded. So I thought this would be a good topic of conversation since you're fresh, you're a few weeks into this now, to find out what you've found. What are the pros and cons, the benefits of live versus doing the pre-record stuff? But before we get into that, should we say good day to these folks who are here live, because there are a few of them. G'day to Joe Glenn. G'day to Russ 8889. G'day to you. Marcus Cannell is here as well, as is Gregory O'Sullivan and Ashley HM. We call that a Melbourne doubleheader right there, as opposed to a Tasmanian doubleheader, which is something completely different. Hello to Dr. Zorders. Oh, yeah. Dr. Zorders is here.
Dr. Zorders?
There you go. Hello, Conspiracy Media. And I have just thrown in the chat, if you are here live, you're probably already following Jade. But if you're not, go over. Just search Jade Starr with 2 R's. Did you know, you probably do, because I think we've talked about this before, that there's a teenager called Jade Starr in South Africa who is doing like vlogs, and every time I go to search for your videos, it's like, oh, hey guys, let's go to the mall and shop. And what do teenagers do these days? I don't know. I'm really old, but yeah, it's always a bit weird, because I'm like, no, I want the filthy lady that talks about apps. I don't want this. What's going on?
There's another filthy lady, but that's another story. But there's quite a few Jade Stars. There's a lot. There's a lot in film. When I actually changed my name to this in 2003, there weren't any. There were none. I thought it was so original, and then all of a sudden they cropped up these porn stars and this and that. I'm like, and it's just ridiculous.
Just, keep in mind, go to jadestar.com.au. The .au is very important.
Very.
Unless it's not. Unless you're into that, and more power to you. G'day to the Falcro as well. Anyone else who I've missed, say g'day. Or if you're just lurking, hey, Tim Osborne. Or if you're lurking in the background, that's cool too. We don't mind a bit of a lurk. So when you first started this, why did you go live, Jay? Why did you start with live, I guess would be the question, because we've talked about this on the show before, and if you haven't checked it out, just search Pete John's Jade stage, Starr, we've done, 20 live shows together at this stage. So we've talked about the fact that you started doing this because you wanted a reason to get up every day and to put out content. And I said to you, I can't deal with it anymore. People keep asking me questions about apps and I don't know schnizzle. So can you please start making videos? And then you did. And you decided to do it live. And it started with 20 minutes and it's kind of crept out to an hour. And I think you're kind of clocking in around about 90 to 100 minutes most days now. Why was that? Why live? Why did you choose that to begin with?
Firstly, it was easy to fall out of bed and do it. So if you get a setup and have it all prepared and ready to go, then you should just be able to fall out of bed each day and just hit go. And so that's the easy part. And because it's a morning thing for me, and I try and reach the US and UK, so it's very early, and you used to do very early. I know that too. So it's handy to be able to just fall out of bed and do something like that. And again, like I wanted to build a community, and I felt like I could reach more people because through my personality. That's what my channel is. I know there's a lot of channels out there that teach you how to use apps, but I really wanted to make my mark with my personality over the apps and have it like a variety show. Because I'm interested in variety show. I've done comedy and, movies, acting, all this kind of stuff throughout my life. So being able to have a daily show where I can talk bollocks, I can play with apps, I can talk serious stuff as well, and I can hang out with a community that's built. That was the main reason why I went with live over pre-recorded.
Yeah, and it is so much easier to just get done. And look, it's not zero preparation. And we're going to talk a couple of things. We're going to talk about the benefits of live, benefits of pre-record, but then we're going to go the other side. We're going to go to the dark side. And as we talked about in the pre-show, I know everything about Star Wars, so that's going to be good to talk about the dark side of live and pre-record. But yeah, I find the same thing. The benefit of live is that no editing, limited preparation. You do have to prepare, and maybe we'll start with that. So if people are considering, because this is a creator town hall, so there's creators out there that are considering live streaming. Some of them already are, some of them are veteran live streamers. For those that are considering it, what is the planning? What goes into a live show for you? You get up in the morning. People obviously think you just roll out of bed and you start pressing buttons, but there's a lot more to it than that, isn't there, before you actually plan and start a live stream?
Absolutely, there really is. It comes down to emailing, contacting developers. There's a lot of email back and forward, sorting out codes, getting on betas. A lot of the time is learning how to use the app. Because, you can get in there. We've talked about this on shows before. You can get in there, get an app the day it's released and try and beat everyone to the punch. But you're not really going to give a good example of the app. You need to play with it for a bit, understand it, so you can teach people, because that's the role. I'm trying to teach people with a bit of fun, So learning the app is a lot of the time. And then there's, making the thumbnails, putting together the shows, sending out all the posts to all the channel, to all the Facebook groups, all that kind of stuff. It all takes time. Plus, then on top of that, you've got to contact back developers and say, hey, I did a show. Here it is. Have a look at it. Now, having a sponsor as well with DistroKid, it's starting to get to the point of invoicing and business and all this stuff and taxes and joy to the world. I didn't realize this was this much fun. But it is absolute fun. No, but the one thing that is hard is the struggle to write music. So you've got to, and this, you've got to try and incorporate it into the show. And I don't know if you feel this. I feel sometimes when I do that, I don't want to hog up people's time going, and here's me making my song. Because who am I? It's just a song, who cares? Yeah. So, but hopefully it's the educational stuff, and what if my song's okay, then that's good as well.
Yeah, totally. And it's the balancing act, isn't it? And as soon as you get into the business side of things, it becomes that you have to think about it. And I know you don't think about the fact that there is all of that, because people think of live streamers. Look, I don't care if you're a Twitch gaming streamer. As soon as you're working with other brands, with other companies, you got brand deals, they want you to sign contracts and sign waivers, and they want to sometimes look at the videos before you release them or tell you what you can and can't say, which I don't do, and I'm pretty sure you don't do as well. But there's a lot of demands that suddenly come onto you. And then a lot of decisions to make as well around what you actually do. Because like you say, you can be the Walmart of app reviews and do the race to the bottom or the race to first to try and get the first review out. Or you can actually work out what you're doing with the app and then actually create a live stream that people are going to benefit from. So, and I think one of the things that you've done well is you tell people right up front, you don't have to buy it. Like, I'm not selling you this app. And I think one of the best things that's happened in the App Store in the last 2 years, and people will think this is a super controversial take and a bit of a hot take, but when Apple removed that, the affiliate program for apps, the quality of reviews overnight doubled. Like, it just suddenly got good because the assholes that came out and that would just review every app and say every app is amazing, you should just buy every app, because they knew they were getting their 7% cut. As soon as they're not getting that anymore, they stopped doing it. Have you noticed the same sort of thing? Because obviously you've started after that with the app reviews, but have you noticed that the quality of what people are doing is actually improved over time?
Look, there are a lot of fantastic channels out there who do what I do each day, and they all have different styles. And I piggyback off them too. There's sometimes I'll open an app and there may not be a manual for it yet because it's only a beta or whatever. And I go and watch, people like Jamie Melander. I go and watch other people's channels. Sound for More. There's some really good channels out there that do incredible stuff. Then I try and take that, and turn it into a variety show and have jokes and stupid stuff to make it fun. But the one thing which we were talking about just before the show too, is it's really hard because I know there's people out there who just want to know about the app. They just want the app and that's it. They want to understand how to use it and that's it. And I'm not about that. And, I watch all these YouTube channels on how to be a YouTuber, made by a person who's got a YouTube channel telling you how to be a YouTuber, but they actually don't have any content. They're just telling you how to be a YouTuber, and they have 100,000 subscribers from telling you how to be a YouTuber. Yeah. It's all a bit circular. And, a lot of the times I watch those and they're like, I watch and think, oh my God, I'm doing it wrong. And it's like, hang on a minute, I'm not. I'm doing what makes me happy. And there's people, no matter how fast it's growing, there's people that are connecting each day. And that's the most important thing. I don't want to be the cookie cutter of everyone else. I don't want to be the same show as everybody else. But again, moving into this short form thing, this has to be done. Plus, I've got such a big catalog now, Pete, of 500 plus, 550 plus episodes. With these shorter recorded episodes, I can now go back through that catalog and do short form of all those previous videos and then point to the long form ones if people want more. So I've built a catalog. I'm really happy with that. That's a comfortable place to be in right now.
It is, and if I could go back in time, if I had good enough internet, thank you Australian NBN, to have done live streaming first, I probably would have, but I had to do pre-recorded because there was no way to live stream on my DSL. Yeah. So and shout out to anyone who's still struggling with very poor internet. We'll say goodnight to the folks who are here live again, and then we'll jump into pre-recording. So you've jumped into pre-recording. We've talked about the benefits of live. You can roll out of bed, you can get started, but pre-recording has some benefits too, and I'm keen to get your views on these. But let's say goodnight to some folks. Ashley HM says, your personality is awesome, Jade. Thanks for doing your shows. There you go. Tim says that Jade's channel is great with learning apps. I've learnt lots. Yeah. And,
Thank you, Tim.
I listen to you in the background. So you know this, but the earlier you get, the less awake I am when I listen to you. Yes. So I've got my headphone in and I'm making my toast and I'm getting my family ready for the day. So I'm only listening on audio. But there is the ultimate compliment is when I have to pause and then go back to watch what you just did. So I do that quite often. And then I forget I'm not live. And then I make a comment and then I'm 10 minutes behind. So if you ever see a really weird comment that comes into your chat, it's because I paused you, forgot, and then came back, and I'm 10 minutes behind everyone else. So
that's
so
what those are each day. I just thought you were weird.
You thought I'd left, but I'm actually just watching a half an hour in the past. You're like, Drive By Pete. And I'm like, no, I was still here. I was just delayed.
I love Drive By Pete. It's so cool. I know, right? It so goes against everything that your real character is. That's what's cool about it.
And I take it in my stride because I like it. I love the meme. I'll do it for the laughs. I'll do it for the yucks. Yes, I love going live. I exist for my chat interaction, and that is a key thing. We'll talk about chat because that's obviously a plus, but it's also a bit of a challenge as well. And maybe we'll we'll tackle
Yes.
that in the live challenges in a moment as well. G'day Emobot 9000. G'day to JDL over there in the UK. It's Andy Goldsby Music, everybody. Hope you're doing well, Andy. The Beat Bank is here as well. I'm just scrolling on down to say g'day
Mark
to
Tanner.
everyone. Mark
Hey,
Tanner
the
is here.
Falco. I just watched the Falco's live stream. He went for like 7 hours.
See, I
Dude,
don't
you're
know how
becoming
these folks
hippie.
do it.
He's becoming
Right,
hippie,
yeah.
man.
How do these people just stream for more? Like I do 2 hours and I'm exhausted. I'm just dying in a pool of sweat. But maybe that's just because I'm 40 plus and very unfit. G'day, John Kell. John Kell is one of the admins of the Song Spark group over on Facebook.
Hi, John.
So if you're a songwriter and you're not a member of that, jump on over there. We got the one and only Dominic Tarragrossa, getting ready for work, but can join you for my last swallows of coffee. I like this because of the time change. It's actually early morning, so we'll get a few of the US and the Canadians in for breakfast, which is always good. There is a GarageBand new update. While we go through and I find the rest of these comments, what did you think of the new update, Jade? The new GarageBand update. I was skeptical and then surprisingly happy, and I think you were along the same lines. What do you reckon?
Yeah, the kits are pretty boring. There's a few little sounds in there that were cool, but what I really love were the loops. Some really interesting loops. That's really cool because I find a lot of the loops a bit boring. So it's interesting to have some, and they're up my alley. So there's a bit of kind of noise stuff in there, really avant-garde stuff. I love the avant-garde stuff. If you're not going to give me metal, man, give me more avant-garde.
Right. Yeah, we need a metal pack. Someone left a comment on my video where they're just like, I can't believe you said this was cool. And I'm like, have you heard me? I just say cool all the time. Like, even if
Very cool.
if it's super cool or very cool, then you know it's actually cool. If I just say it's cool, it's probably just average. So just take that with a grain of salt. But yes, it was interesting, and it's weird because I've been spending we'll jump into the pre-record stuff because I'm exhausted because I spent about 4 hours doing pre-records today because I announced earlier in the week, and some folks may know, and those that are on my Patreon will know that I'm doing some BandLab videos. So I'm going a little bit sideways in the world, and I'm using BandLab, which is a browser-based DAW based on sort of the Cakewalk infrastructure. So I'm becoming Mike. I'll have to say I hope you're well very soon because I'm getting into the Cakewalk and the BandLab world. But it's really interesting going back to this because I did 2.5 hours of recording, and my first video was 20 minutes, and the second one's going to be about 10 in editing. So it's a lot. We'll talk about the negatives of the pre-record side. But first of all, what are you liking? So you've been doing the pre-recorded stuff for a couple of weeks. What are you digging about it? What do you like?
Well, you're starting to turn into a robot. It's always when I'm on, Pete.
It is for when you're on. We'll jump over. You talk while I jump over.
I have a bad touch. Sorry, what was the question?
I'll get onto my other channel. Just one moment for one moment. Hold the line, please.
Man, it was something about pre-recorded, wasn't it?
It was.
Are you changing to? So Pete's
I'm changing over to my other connection. So we'll be back in just a jiffy. You'll hear me and see me again soon. Weirdly, it's been recording fine all day, and it's only been right now that it's just fallen in a hole, and we don't know why. So hopefully I can come back. I might have to jump out and then come back in.
You're back now.
I'm coming. I'm bringing it back in.
Yeah, it's
all right.
back
Hopefully I'm coming back. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, here we come. We're coming back. So that is the I was talking about the NBN before, and that is the wonderful NBN network here in Australia. If you want an actual live demonstration of why the NBN is so bad, what they do at this time of night is that everyone in Australia is Netflix and chilling, and they're doing way too much Netflix and nowhere near enough chilling. So my problem is that I have to jump off.
Australia.
Get chill in Australia, yeah. So what they do, and I'm sure of this, I've been fighting with I've been fighting with an unnamed internet company that I happen to be with for the last couple of weeks, because what they're doing, and I've proven it through speed test, is that they just throttle the uploads back to virtually none, because they know that 98% of their consumer base is just wanting to send that request to Netflix saying, give me the next episode of Married at First Sight, and then they're just going to sit and watch and download. So they sacrifice the uploads for the downloads. So I'm getting 60 meg down and about half a meg up. So I have to jump over to my mobile phone to do this. So before I had to rant about the NBN, what I was asking is, you've been doing pre-recorded videos for a couple of weeks now, Jade. What have you been finding has been working? What have you liked about that? What have you liked about the whole process of recording without a live audience there and then editing and putting that video out?
The good thing is that I've done enough shows on LumaFusion that I'm well versed in LumaFusion, and that's the easiest part of it. Putting it all together is really good because I can just set up a template. I've set from the first show, I set up a template, saved like the intro, the outro theme music, how long it goes for, how loud it is, and all that. And then I just open the preset thing I've made, make a duplicate, and then import the file and start chopping it up. Actually recording it is, it's challenging because I like to swear. And
Really?
there's a lot of swearing in my pre-records, but I'm getting better. I think the hardest thing is trying to keep up the energy for it because, it kind of does suck a little bit, because my shows kind of are. Today we're looking at, and you want to get through really fast and get into it and get to the meat of it really quickly. And I want to keep the vibe up because the live shows are more laid back and that kind of thing. But look, as we're in the third week, I just did one before the show today and before this show. And I think I started at 7 and it was uploaded by, hang on. Yeah, it was uploaded by 8:10. So, and that was a nearly 8-minute video all up. Yeah. So I'm getting faster at it, I think.
Yep. No, it's the proof is in the pudding, because if you jump over here and you check out what's going on here, and again, look, it's not all about views and all about interaction, but you're getting a very decent chunk of views on all of these pre-recorded videos as well as a lot of interaction. I guess that's probably what you'd miss a little bit about the pre-records is you don't have that live audience to feed off of. And as a live performer for a long time, that must be something that you enjoy about the live, of having the community there. Do you find it lonely? Do you find it weird? Because I know you did this about a year ago. You did some premieres because you were coming over, funnily enough, to Adelaide to hang out with me. Not just with me, but to hang out here in Adelaide and have a holiday and go to the Fringe. But yeah, when you did those, you did some pre-records there and you were like basically interacting with a pretend live audience as part of that. Do you find yourself doing that, performing to the camera like you're performing in live?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's the moments in between that are probably the funniest because, as Gregory's written here, Jade, you seem almost manic on those shorts. And I am, because I want to get them done and I want to be excited. Because when you're talking about apps and making music, I do get excited. Like it is exciting. So and Big Kev, was that his name? The guy who used to sell floor cleaning products. He was like, I'm excited. And and you remember people like that, even though because I watch a lot of YouTubers and there are some that I love their content. And they're very much like, hello, and they're really intense. And I do find myself yelling at the TV, shut up, just for a minute. So I kind of, because at the end of the day, any response is a good response, even if it's somebody watching your video and going, God, you're annoying. It's like, yeah, but you're enjoying it, aren't you? Because I'm that stupid and annoying. But it's the moments in between that, you do a piece, you finally get it right with no swearing. And then you've got to move to the next thing and load up the next scene. And I love watching those bits in between where I'm just going, and I look like a nong, like I'm just scrolling around. And then I look up and go, right, now we're going to, you turn it on and off. It is like performance, really. And not having an audience is, it's going to change because I've said to my Patreons, I'm going to start doing some shows maybe once every 2 weeks where you get to see me put one together. And I think that'll be fun. I know you do that. And I think some of the swearing will be fun on the Patreon. Because we've got a lot of patrons now. I've got a great crew of patrons now. I love them to death. So I'd love to give them some spicy entertainment.
Oh, a little bit saucy, you might even say. Do check out jadestar.com.au and check out your Patreon. The other one's probably got an OnlyFans. If it's OnlyFans, it's probably not the right one. So if you want to check out Jade and her How To app Patreon, check that one out. jadestar.com.au is the place to go. G'day to Cy Effin. Thanks for dropping on by. G'day to you. And Violet's Inspiration Soup. Hello to you. Thank you for dropping on by. If anyone has any questions, by the way, we're kind of ranting. I said to Jade,
Yes.
Jade paid me a compliment here because I sent her some topics before and I'm like, I'm going to talk about this and this and this. And she's like, oh, you're actually prepared. And I'm like, it was 1 minute of thinking and 4 minutes of typing. But yeah, that's about as prepared as I get for this show.
It was good.
Yeah, it would be good. I agree. It would be good to see the behind the scenes of Jade because, for those that are on Patreon, you know that I don't always swear that much. I don't get that frustrated, but you definitely get a different side of people when something hasn't worked for the fourth time and it's take 5. Just that level of angst and pressure that comes in there. You're just like, right, I'm going to nail it this time. So
I think too, stumbling over words is because I don't write a script, and you can tell because there's some bits where I've stumbled over words and just gone, leave it in there, whatever. Because I think leaving it in there, whatever, is a good thing to do because hopefully it encourages other people that, we're not perfect. Yeah. And just putting it out there sometimes, just go for it. It's like when you look back at my early live streams, they suck. They're terrible, and even now they're pretty terrible as well. But I think leaving those little muffs in there sometimes, because I see people like do a muff up and then they put a little text thing across the bottom to correct themselves. Unless it's like something really bad, like, the price of something, you could do that. But yeah, I like leaving it raw, and I'm kind of enjoying them. They're fun.
Could you be less committal in any way? I'm kind of enjoying
when they're
it.
fun.
It's not terrible.
When it's all uploaded, that's when it's fun.
When it's done.
Over, and there's 2 more days till the next one.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Now, originally you were considering just clipping from your live show, and you kind of pivoted on that. You decided to re-record rather than try and clip from your live show. What was the thoughts behind that? Why did you not just go, hey, why don't I just clip directly from the live show to save some time?
So on the Patreon, I told everybody that this change was coming. I was going to be adding these shows, and the idea was to clip the daily streams. But so the daily streams can be an hour and sometimes a little bit more. Normally, I try to aim for an hour. Yep. If it's a complicated app with a lot of stuff in there, it will go over. Or it's a topic, like looking at the Files app over the last few days. There's a lot to unpack in those shows. And if Hippie can go for 6 hours, I think an extra half an hour is not too bad. Right? So... But so when you man, I've forgotten the question, Pete. What's going on? This is terrible.
You weren't clipping your live shows. You were going to do them fresh.
Oh yeah. So when I started, I said it to everybody I was going to clip them. When I started clipping them, it was really hard because there would be like a moment where I'm talking and just broken it up and gone, and then you click on this button here and hi Russ, what's going on? And it wouldn't work in context with what's going on the screen because I've probably shut down the screen and what was on the screen when I've broken to have a conversation, or I've put up a comment that was a bit of a joke, or we've broken away to something else. Yeah. There was so much to chop out, and it just everything looked out of context and it looked wrong. So I tried it for about a month and then I tried to alter the shows, the live streams, by coming on and trying to be conscious of it. And I watched 2 of those back and was like, man, I've lost my mojo in those shows, because it is about freely having conversations with people, addressing the chat. So yeah, it was like, all right, now I have to make a decision. How long are the videos going to be then? Because, and for anybody, I don't know if this is the right thing. I'm just doing it anyway. I looked at the average amount of time people spent watching the live stream, because it's a hell of a lot shorter than the full hour. Yep. So, it was roughly between like 15 minutes kind of thing. So it was like, all right, so these short videos have to be 15 minutes or below, because that's the average. I think, I don't know. I'm not a pro YouTuber. So it seems okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then I'm looking at your videos, and your first one was like 23 minutes. But that's all right.
Yes.
You have
The
sort of sat around.
but they've come down.
They
The one
have.
from the last one was 9, and today's one I'm about to drop after this show is about 7.
Yeah,
So
well, no,
they've
look,
come down.
they are coming down, and it seems to be working for you. And I think again, attention spans. They're wait, what's that?
Yeah.
Something shiny. There's some other comments here. Let's say good day to some other folks who've dropped in because we have the wonderful Samantha Edge, another fellow
Sam.
Adelaidean. Hope you're doing well. Cy Effin says, having done pre-recorded videos, I know how hard it is to nail it. What you're trying to say? My pre-cut down videos look like a middle-aged bloke having a meltdown. Yeah. So again, if you want to see a middle-aged bloke having a meltdown, join me on my Patreon stream because that's what those ones are like. If you saw me trying to learn BandLab earlier this week, and then I might actually share the raw footage with my patrons as well because there's an hour, 2.5 hours, in fact. If you really want to see how it really works behind the scenes, 2.5 hours. You probably don't. Sorry, it's fine. Mark Tanner says nothing you do is terrible. Jade.
Mark.
Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
And the Falcro says, that's what I love here. It's real. And yeah, and I think you mentioned this in the pre-show, and we'll jump on and talk about some of the challenges of live in a moment. But I think you're right that when I first started out in this caper, I started looking to people that I wanted to emulate, and I wanted to be just like them. I wanted to be creating exactly the videos they were. I'm like, I want to be the next Joe Gilder, the next Rick Beato, the next Graham Cochran. And then I realized those guys are better at doing that than I am. They're better at being them, but no one else is as good at being me. And I think that's one cool thing, that every creator that I love watching is because they are unique and different and an individual.
Yeah.
Is that a conscious decision you've made, or can you just simply do nothing else, Jade?
I don't think I can do anything else. I've always been that go against the grain, black sheep. If someone's doing this, I've got to go the other way. I've just always been. I can't settle for standard. I've always got to push boundaries. I think we need more people to push boundaries, and I'm saying push boundaries instead of the newest term, asking questions, because that's like linked with lunacy these days. But there are a lot of boring channels out there too. And don't get me wrong, there are some boring channels that I do watch a lot of because I do want to get to the meat of what I want to smell what their rock is cooking. And I don't care about their personality if they're just doing a tutorial. But then there are a lot of the ones I watch who have these massive personalities, and I want to kind of be entertained and have fun while I'm learning, because learning sucks. Let's be real. Like, learning can be really grey and miserable, and it reminds you of classrooms. And, the whole system that we live in is you're born in a box, and then you go into another box, and then you learn in another box, and then you come out of that box into a bigger box. And if you do something wrong, they put you in even a smaller box. So I think that stepping outside of that box is the best way to go for myself as a content creator. And the most important thing is to have fun, really. It's got to be fun. If you're doing YouTube and you hate it, stop doing it.
Stop it.
Go and get a corporate job. Trust me.
Oh, mate,
then you'll hate your life more.
Well, yeah, I've said that to a bunch of people. I'm like, yeah, you don't. If you're worried about like making money and having like an easy life, don't be a YouTuber, and definitely don't be a YouTuber in the music industry, because you're doubling down on two very variable occupations right there. A music YouTuber has got to be like, short of being a cryptocurrency guru, it's got to be the most volatile business to be in. So as conservative John's over here, I'm really got no idea why I'm doing this, but thank you all for hanging out and for having a chat about it. But you're right. Like when you think back to when you've learnt best, and the teachers you've had that are great, and the educators that you know that are great, it's probably 20% content and 80% entertainment and personality and engagement, as opposed to, I think, like you say, sometimes you need just the facts, ma'am. You need like the 80% content and 20% personality. But I think when people substitute in and have 0% personality, I just tune out. Doesn't matter if it's the most direct, most informative video in the world. If it's just someone there reading from a script sounding monotone and boring, I will just click off and tune out, and probably watch a 20-minute video instead of a 5-minute video, as long as I'm actually entertained and kept interested along the way. So,
Well, I miss Gavinsky's tutorials. Man, Gavinsky was the best. His tutorials were so deep. He studied the manual for apps. He'd study the manual for every goddamn app. And he was so deep, he went into every single thing. But he was just like, hello, everybody. Welcome to Gavinsky's tutorials. Anyway, and he was boring as hell, right? But I love him for it because I didn't need him to tap dance. I didn't need him to sing a song. I needed him to give me everything out of that manual because I can't be bothered reading it.
And that is a great point because, again, after I say that, and what I say is that every statement, like, just assume that before I say anything, the statement beforehand is in my experience and in my opinion. Because what I've learned over 6 years, nearly 7 years doing this stuff is that audiences are different, viewers are different, people are different. So you can still engage with a different audience that are going to be completely different to and your style or what you think is going to be interesting. The very fact that for 3 years my children watch people unboxing toys on YouTube, and the very fact that people watch 30-second videos of teenagers yelling at themselves, I don't get it, but somebody does, and I'm not smart enough to work out why. But is that really my job?
Unboxing toys. What's wrong with that, Pete?
Well, I watch, actually, I do. I watch people unboxing Apple stuff now. I watch Renee Ritchie unboxing a Mac Studio and just go, oh, this is getting a bit saucy. Renee, you've shaved your beard. Oh, you're looking a bit... Anyway, let's not get into that because we could go into a weird tangent about my affection for Renee Ritchie. The Lily Pillies, hello. Someone told me there was a rumour floating around here that the Lily Pillies may be being interviewed by you tomorrow on your channel, right there. Is that true?
It is absolutely 100% true. I've got to write the questions after this show.
I'm keeping you from your duties of doing that.
They only take me 2 minutes. 2 minutes each time. Much like you, I don't write a lot of questions. I just do a few bullet points and just have a chat.
Just chuck it. Exactly. And it should, not that it should be that way, but I know that works for you and that's good. Hello to Aussie Coin Hunter as well. That's someone I've seen Aussie Coin Hunter around to the point where this is a good indication of this. I have no interest in finding coins and doing metal detecting and all that stuff. I've watched a bunch of Aussie Coin Hunter's videos because one day he came and just commented on one of my videos and I'm like, Aussie Coin Hunter, I'm in. And then I'm just watching him just go, what's he going to find today? Again, because he's a cool dude with a good personality. He drives around. He's just like, hey, what's going on here today? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you're right. Attention span's being reduced. It's TikTok, it's YouTube Shorts, it's Instagram. We're on a downward spiral, but let's not worry about that tonight. Let's just have some fun. Sam says less than 10-minute videos also work well. Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. That sometimes you can spend too much time. I know we do. You and I both do like hour-long live streams, but we also do now. We both do shorter form content, so it swings and roundabouts there as well. What are the challenges of going live? So we'll jump back over to live. We're going to be over, and so we've talked about the benefits of live and pre-record. What do you find challenging about live, or some of the things that perhaps you don't love about going live almost every day?
I don't love the fear of the internet controlling, holding me like a puppet, having control over everything, being at the behest of the internet. And I don't like
idea what you're talking about.
I don't like being at the behest of things like, I'm not putting, trust me when I say this, I'm not putting down Restream because I use them. I love them. If you want to sponsor me, Restream, please do so, because I've been using it for a long time and I've hardly had any problems. But it is just a fear that is something going to happen today? Is YouTube going to go down? That's the biggest fear that I have. And the other fear is that nobody's going to be there. That's the biggest fear. To do a show where there's nobody there, I've been really lucky, I have to admit, because I've been a moderator on your channel for so long. I'm moderating so many other people's channels. And that was one of the keys to, I've talked about this before, how I got my channel off the ground, helping you run your channel and help answering questions and doing that kind of thing. And I've done that in so many other people's channels, and still do. So it's helped me when I kicked off to know that there were going to be people. I couldn't imagine just starting with no one there. I was very lucky. I think my first stream, I had maybe 9 people. It was like, oh, this is a bit of all right. So yeah, but having nobody would suck. But everything else, it's pretty cool. Like I genuinely look forward to it each day. When it's over, it's a bit like, oh man, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see why hippie and people go for, extended periods of time because it is fun. Like you are hanging out with people and it is a good time. And with the way the world has been,
Yeah.
with little contact and stuff, this has been the best outlet. So, look, I love live. I think it's fun. There's not too much that I dislike about it. And what I've said just then. It's not much.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true, and I guess that's the biggest fear factor. And I talk about this a lot, and I know you do too. And we kind of generally agree on this topic: is that a lot of people that are not willing to take risks and not willing to put themselves out there. And it's the same in singing. We've had discussions about vocals on this channel before. That people that sing within themselves, you can tell it. People that are doing live streaming that are within themselves, you can tell. And there is a part of this that is performing. So if you hang out with me, you've been here, we've sat around, we've eaten pizza and drank beer and had a good time. This is not exactly how I am in real life, but it's not much different. This is like a 2x personality of me. So when we're in the pre-show or the post-show, you and I are having discussions that are pretty similar to this, but I won't be quite as, hey, everybody, hi, blah, blah, blah. But it's very, very similar. And that's probably one of the things that folks don't realize coming into this is that, unfortunately, for what it's worth, most of us, including myself, if you're just having a conversation, it's not the sort of thing that multiple people would want to tune into a lot of the time. So you do have to be a bit different. You do have to say things like, hey, it's Blindside. G'day, Blindside. I haven't seen you around the channel for a while. Thanks for being here. Mark Tanner. Yes, as an interviewee with Jade, it can go anywhere. I know. I've seen it happen to you and others. Mr. Smith. Hello, Mr. Smith. Hello, Mr. Anderson. To Ingo from Black Covers, who you've spoken to as well on your channel. To Samantha Edge, who you've spoken to as well on your channel. Everyone that's here is just from your channel. So this is the thing. That the only reason we have live viewers here tonight is that they've come over from you, Jade. That's
I followed the coin hunting man as well. So
everyone
that sounds interesting to me.
You want to. Aussie Coin Hunter. Go and subscribe
I love
to
that
his
stuff. I love snake breeding, spider breeding. I love all this weird stuff and collecting and finding stuff, treasure, and that. I'm really into those videos. So I look forward to some Aussie coin adventures.
Right, all Aussie, bit of Russell Coit. Jenny Jolivet, hello to you. Be yourself,
Hi, Jenny.
only more. Yeah, and don't do the Russ Cardone thing of 10x or 100xing yourself, because then you just sound like slightly deranged. But you can go 2 or 3x. I think that's about the safe proportion.
Well, yeah,
So-
I'm a big wrestling fan, Pete. You know that.
Yeah,
So
I do.
and that's how the biggest wrestlers. That's how they. In the industry, they call it getting over, getting the fans to appreciate you. And a WWE, they're really crazy sometimes. They put these dumb gimmicks on wrestlers. They'll put them in a nappy and call them the baby, or just something really stupid, and the crowd don't dig it. But if you take someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin, the guy, he's Texan and he talks like, oh, bro, I'll do all this to you, and I'm a rattlesnake. And all he does is just turn it up to 150, same as The Rock. Yep. They just turn it up. That's it. They're being the same person, but just turned up a volume. And man, you can't get enough of them. They're just people that you want to get more and more of, and that's the key to it. Turn it up, baby.
Turn it up. Turn it up. All right, we're gonna talk about some of the challenge. So you've been doing the pre-record stuff. What have we got? About 18 minutes left. You've been doing the pre-record stuff now for a couple of weeks. We've sort of covered a lot of this, but what have you not been liking about doing it? What's been the grind? What have you been finding challenging? You talked about editing's a bit of a breeze because you're a whiz with the LumaFusion. And if you don't know about LumaFusion, by the way, it's an iOS. I use it to edit all my videos on this very iPhone. You can use it on iPad and M1 Mac as well. So the editing's obviously something that comes pretty naturally to you. What else don't you like? So what are some of the challenges that you've had with your pre-recording stuff?
There's only one thing. It's actually starting it. And this applies to everything you do. It's actually just getting up off your ass and going, now, do it now, instead of sitting around and going, I'll do it in an hour. Because, and we all know this. Once you actually get up and start it, it happens. It just rolls out, you get it done, and then you sit there every time afterwards and go, what was so bad about that? What was so bad? But then the next day... there I am sitting on the bed looking at the clock going, in an hour. And I don't know why. That's the worst thing. It just actually starting it because I don't think I've ever. So what have I got? I think I've got 8 videos now, 8 of them. Well, 8 when this new one drops tonight.
Yep.
And tonight was the exact same thing. I was looking, going, oh, I've got to go on Pete's show at 9. It's 7. Oh man, can I do it within that time frame and be ready for Pete, and then have it ready to drop straight after the video? And you know what? I could, of course, I could. Because, and the funny thing is too, I really thought they were going to take longer to do, but I haven't had one take longer than 2 hours. Yeah. Definitely, because if you're just shooting it, when you're recording it, you just hit, like I use OBS and just hit record, and you just let the whole thing just record all the way through with all your gaps and all your swearing, and then you just send the file across from my laptop to my iPad and just chop it up. It's pretty easy to do. You just got to, I think, the one thing I have gotten from you, which has been really, really helpful, is the clicks. Seeing that spot in the video and going, right, and just knowing that there's a gap. Because when I first started doing it, I'd start off like the video and go, today we're looking, today, and I was doing it too fast in between these failed attempts previously. So you're looking at the file and there's all these, because that's how you look for it. You look for the WAV files where there's nothing there. Yep. And it just wasn't working. It was taking more time than not. But putting in jazz hands or like a click or something like that, just clapping. I need a clicker. I want one of those clapper boards. So I might buy one on eBay actually.
Well, weirdly, there's again, because audio, if you're not knowing what we're talking about, when you're editing video, you're normally editing by the audio waveform because you can scrub through video, but it's actually easier to see when you start talking it. Because as Jade said before, when you're recording, you'll do blah, 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 and then just sort of sit there, studying your navel, thinking about the next thing you're doing or checking your notes or whatever, and then you go, and now. But if you just give it a quick sharp snap or a couple of snaps, that actually creates 2 little jagged bits in your waveform, and then you can actually go back and check those out.
I found one already for $18.95. I'm getting it, man.
Well, what a lot of voiceover artists do, and the Booth Junkie, he uses little dog clickers. So those little dog training clickers that are like about $2. So they're what a lot of people use to just click it. But I actually want you to get the full clapper board.
I'm getting it. Trust me.
That's going to be bought by the end of the show. Jade's going to own one of them. Yeah, the old clapper board was used for a reason. Exactly, it 100% was. It was not just for show. It was definitely used for a reason. Dubba, hello to you. I've not seen you around the channel or Jade's channel, so g'day to you. Might be a weird perspective, but I started watching stuff and then feel anxious that I might have to use the info to do something. I'm so scared of learning and trying stuff out. That's a really interesting and insightful point that the more you learn, and I agree with this because I've been learning Logic Pro over the last sort of 6 months, and I got to a point where I'm like, my brain won't take any more learning, and I don't want to learn anything new. I don't want to watch any more Logic tutorials because then I'll feel like I'm letting someone down by not using this information. So I totally get it. That's a very
I get
good
that
point.
too. Like when I have to study an app, I do the same thing as starting the pre-records. I do sit there and go, oh my God, I have to start watching videos and actually paying attention to them and learning something. And then I have to sit here in front of the desk and have the app open while they're doing it and be like, okay, try and recreate that. And I don't want to. I wish there was more time in the day because I'd just learn it by myself. But sometimes, there just isn't enough time to learn a new app almost every day because they're complex suckers.
They are indeed. Yeah, there's nothing simple about iOS. As much as people think that it's a really simple way to record, it can be, but it can also, like most things, it's as complex as you want to make it. Hello, Black Covers, by the way. I don't think I said specifically g'day to Ingo. No. I think I mentioned you in the whole people that Jade have interviewed before. On the topic of procrastination, if you want a cool book, I know this is going to be super nerdy, but I'm a reader and I love reading things. There's a book called Eat That Frog. And it's exactly what Jade was talking about before. It's 21 great ways to stop procrastinating and get more done in less time. And if you don't want to buy the book or you don't want to read it, I'll tell you the main crux of it is the whole Eat That Frog, which is a bit gross because especially I'm a vegetarian. I don't really want to eat a frog. But when you get up in the morning, find the thing that you're not wanting to do and do that first. So exactly what Jay was saying, like hit the record button and then just get started doing it, because there's a couple of things that'll happen. You'll feel really good because you won't have to procrastinate and worry about it all day. And it will never be, trust me, it'll never be as bad or take as long or feel as bad as you think it is. Your brain creates this big problem. And I had exactly this morning. I didn't want to do these band labs. I mean, I did. I wanted to get them done, but I didn't want to start them. So for me, I literally just put the lights on here in the studio, set up OBS, hit the record button, and I literally sat there for about 5 minutes just going, I guess I have to start now, because I started. And then I'm like, all right, I'll go in and I'll get it set up and I'll write my notes and I'll get it. And I just did it. And yeah, it took 2.5 hours, but I've now got 2 videos done, and the first one's edited with all the tags, all the thumbnails, everything ready to go. And the second one's halfway done. And this is 2 weeks worth of work that I thought would take me 2 weeks. And you know what it took me? Half a day, because I got started and just went, do it. So yeah, eat that
Absolutely.
frog.
I get up. The first thing I do each morning is turn on 2 softbox lights, because once they're on, you can't turn them off. It's
That's it.
bright, and it's like tearing the Band-Aid off, and then you have to open your eyes. Thank God for my remote control. Now I have.
I know. So you can tell people that they can help you keep the lights on with your.
No, I refuse to steal your material, Pete. I'm not like other channels who steal my material.
We're getting the claws
The
out
master list. Sorry, Ron.
Rockin'
Love you,
Ronnie
Ron.
Ward. None of us wear wigs. But by the way, are they still the same
thank
dreads that
God.
you got in Adelaide? Are you celebrating the 1 year anniversary of those dreads? Very
Yeah.
cool. Looking good.
Yep,
I
still
like it.
rocking the dreads.
I was the first person to touch those dreads, just so you know, in case you were
Yes,
wondering.
and I haven't washed them since.
All right, we got 10 minutes left. So you alluded to this before, but scripts or outlines or nothing, just winging it. What's your recommendation? I've dabbled with all. I've never been a full-on scripted person. I've occasionally winged it, but more often than not, I have an outline. How do you approach either a live or a pre-record when you're actually making a new video or doing a live stream?
Live streams, I wing it every day. There's no point writing any scripts. Interviews that I do, and I've been complimented lots of my interviews. I thank everybody for all the really kind words people say about my interviews. But again, they are not scripted. So there's 3 questions at the beginning that are the same each time, and there's 1 at the end that's the same each time. And all the rest are just bullet points, because I think why people like Joe Rogan are really popular as interviewers, not so much their belief systems and stuff, are that they have conversations. And I think people are interested in conversations instead of boring interviews. So that's why I don't script the interviews. And nearly every interview that I have, something juicy always comes out of it. And the beautiful thing is, if someone answers a question and gives you a thread, then you're allowed to pull it. That's how I look at it. And quite often in every interview, there's a thread that is offered, and it's like, awesome, I'm going to pull it. They're giving you permission to go down that path without having to do the formal shit of, can we talk about this? Can we talk? Because it makes it, you can tell, I think, when people have had the conversation before an interview. Now, with doing the pre-records, absolutely, yeah. Be scared, Manny. Very scared.
Be very afraid.
With I nearly said with lily pillies. Do you know I had to look up do you know what a lily pilly is, Pete?
I do. I had a lily pilly tree in my front yard when I was growing up. I know exactly what a lily pilly tree is.
amazing?
Don't eat them. They don't taste good. They're all bitter and they're not that good.
Yeah. Look them up, folks. Look up what a lily pilly is. Anyway, with the pre-records, I don't script any of it, because I try to do the live stream on the app first and then do the shorter version. And that then points people to the app. So I've already talked about the app, and I already know what I need. What are the important parts of it that people need for a takeaway to get them to maybe look at a deeper dive. But in not writing a script, you kind of make more mistakes. But I mean, I've seen these apps where people have the teleprompter apps and stuff, and they cost heaps. Nothing's better than a notepad behind your camera on my TV screen here, which you guys can see if I show you. There we are. So I've got There's my camera right in the front there, and I've got a notepad just behind it. And reading that is just perfect. I can read it really well. But again, I found even writing it down was coming off very scripted. So instead now what I just do is write what the app's called.
Yeah.
You know, how many presets there are, just simple stuff like that. Because that's the stuff I forget when you're actually trying to rattle off the stuff.
Getting the work done. Yeah, I use a very similar approach, and I can't show you but basically on my screen here I have StreamYard, and then I have a little strip down the side, and that's where my notes are. But I'll shimmy them over here. But if you look at this is what I used today about my band lab. So I had a 12-point thing, and this is all I had. So there was no script. This was just me talking to these 12 points, and this is what created my How to Get Started in Band Lab app. If we go behind the scenes even more, this is it. This is all I sent to Jade. Is I sent her this notes, and this is exactly what we're talking about right here, right now. Benefits are live, benefits are pre-recorded. This is my 4 minutes of thinking and writing. So this is all the things that I had ready to go, and that was it. And I think that these sort of shows, like if we scripted this out, for starters, that would be the weirdest thing. If Jade and I did a scripted show where we had like a script to follow, it would fall apart within about 3 minutes for starters, and it would be super clunky. It might actually be entertaining just by how lame and crap it was by the end of it.
It would be. That's what it would be.
That is what it would be. Well, now that you know what the last two things are that we were going to talk about here, we've only got 5 minutes left. I'm actually going to only talk about one, and that is viewer interaction. So we've kind of touched on this a little bit before, but you've got a pretty elaborate setup there, as we've seen tonight. You've got different cameras. You've got a lot of different ways to interact with your viewers. And if for those, again, I recommend those of you that aren't patrons of Jade that you go, hey, up there, that you go and check out her Patreon, because if you think that there's some interesting stuff that goes on her regular shows, you ain't seen nothing. You got the wheel of apps, you've got the mastering, and you've got all sorts of skullduggery that goes on behind the scenes on the Patreon. It is. It's a lot of fun. I never get up early because it's Sunday mornings, and that's kind of, it used to be my only morning where I could sleep in. Now I get a few extra sleep ins, but I usually catch the last sort of half an hour of it where you're doing the draws and things. But how important is interaction? And look, I know the answer. This is like one of those softball answers you just can smash away. But how important is it having interaction with a community and viewers watching you when you're doing these live streams?
Oh, it's pivotal. You have to have it. Like it's been the foundation of my channel. Because it's been it's been tough. I've been pushing really hard on my channel, and I see people probably getting subs faster than me, but it's not about subs. It is about the people that are there every day. It's about the communications you have. Honestly, subscribers, there's so much. I'm going to go on a quick rant about it. Subscribers, man, people put so much focus on it. Subscribers. Guess what? They don't make you money.
No.
It's the views. It's the amount of time people actually watch. And you know what? You don't need to be subscribed to view videos, and you make money from it. Subscribe is a vanity metric that you can get bogged down with it. You really can. And you can, but the interaction, the day-to-day interactions of people is really important. Making sure you acknowledge people, and I've had problems with saying no a lot of the time, and I'm getting better with it. I know you probably did when you began this, because you want to give and give and give and give, but as the workload gets on top of you, man, you don't have the time to do as much as you could when you first start out. Like, I as I said, I mod a lot of channels, and I can't sit there for 3 hours watching everybody's channel because I've got to try and keep mine up. But the interactions with people is really pivotal, really important, and like Patreon as well. Man, I love my Patreons. They're such a wicked crew, a ragtag crew of just like me, and we all have so much fun.
Bunch of misfits.
And they trust me with their music to master each week, and I get to hear their music, I get to master it, and there's a few apps that go out here and there. And it's amazing. There's such great people. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the community that keeps me going. When I first started, it was get out of bed. That's what this thing was, because I'm sick. I'm always sick every day. I'm bleeding everywhere. I have this blood condition. I hate my life. I'm doing it to get out of bed. Now I want to get out of bed and see my friends each day.
Yeah.
Because that's where they all are,
That's the way it is, and and again, for anyone that hasn't watched your channel and watched your show, I recommend going over and doing that because it's very evident that yes, you have a lustful life and a cheeky nature that is going to be very appealing to many people. And if you don't like any of that, just watch the pre-records because they're a little bit less filthy, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But one of the things I learned about live streams early on is that it's important to love you and leave you. And we are going to love you and leave
Yes.
you in about 1 minute's time because what do they say in show business? Leave them wanting more. So hopefully you want more, which means you want Jade back on the Creator Town Hall very soon. And we'll definitely try and arrange that. What parting words, or do you have any words of wisdom that you'd like to leave folks with here tonight, Jade?
Not really. Just the same stuff I say every day because no, really, it's what I say every day. Do what makes you happy. That is it. Keep making mistakes. Make them publicly. Make them loud. Make them proud. Make them often. But make sure you pay attention to that you're making them so you can actually stop making them. And you know what? That's what my channel is about. We're the warts on my channel. We all rise together. And that's what it's all about. Rising all together, lifting each other up, supporting each other, and teaching each other things that we may not know or are too scared to fucking ask. Oops.
That was brilliant. That was at the exact 1 hour mark of this show. Can you believe we went an entire hour without a single fuck on Creator Town Hall?
I haven't sworn on your show forever, Pete. I'm so sorry. I'm normally so good.
Oh, it's what the punters want, mate. They'll be loving it.
Did you just swear as well?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. If you want more live goodness, we didn't plan this because Mike over at Creative Source normally does his show at a different time. But let's do a live look in here because they're still going strong. It is Mike from Creative Source and Patrick from the Garage Band Guide. And neither of us will do our impressions of either of those gents, but I've just dropped a link in the chat here. So go over there, freak them out. I would love everyone that's here to just go there, even if you can only hang out for 2 minutes. Just go there right now and say, Pete and Jade said, I hope you're well. And that will just make Mike's night. He will just be absolutely loving that as well as being confused.
I got it in.
You got it in. Hang on. You got it in, Jade. All right. That is going to do it for this one. Thank you, everyone, for being here. On behalf of my co-host, the one and only Jade Starr, please, this week, be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others. Keep creating. Do your thing. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Bye.